What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and we have to talk about Apple stock because some crazy news has just come out, and it's actually not being received as poorly as I expected it would be. However, over the long term, this news may really affect the fundamentals of the company, so it's something that you guys should pay attention to. So here's the chart. We can see we're not actually even down on the day because this news is not very good for Apple stock, which just happened. We're actually still up about 0.72%. Looks like not many people are paying attention to this or care about it. However, this news is really crazy, right? Apple has just lost 30% of the revenue they were collecting on certain purchases. So what I mean by that is Apple has in the past used to collect a 30% premium basically on any in-app purchases that, any app has on their app store. Whenever someone purchases something in the app, even like Netflix or Spotify or in-game purchases, Apple gets 30% of that money. They get a 30% fee for just, they allowed that app to be on the App Store and someone was using an iPhone when they purchased it. So there you go. Apple gets a 30% tax essentially. Now, this has just changed today. They're going to allow some apps like Netflix and I believe Spotify to link to their external payments. So these apps are now going to be able to send users somewhere else off the App Store to make these purchases. And that's going to cut into Apple's profit by, they're not going to get that 30% cut that they used to get. I'm assuming they're going to get nothing from those purchases. Now, this is, so what? Who cares, right? Apple makes a lot of money selling iPhones and whatnot. But if you actually look at the revenue that Apple used to collect, in 2020, they collected $72 billion worth of revenue from in-app purchases. So that is a massive amount. And you can see right here, 72.3 billion on in-app purchases, subscriptions, and premium apps in the App Store. And that's a massive amount that they are now going to be getting much less of. Now, if you actually look at Apple's total revenue, you can see that Apple has $274 billion in total revenue for the year 2020. Now, what's scary about this is that assume they lose 30% of this, which they aren't actually going to lose all 30% because it's not all in-app purchases that they're going to allow, but this could be creating a path towards them losing all of that, especially because they have been under some legal scrutiny as of late, right? A lot of regulators want to stop them from collecting this huge tax on anyone who's using their app store because they think that it interferes with free trade. Now, if that actually happens and Apple loses access to all of that, then that would mean this 72 billion, they're basically getting 30% of that right now. So that's about 22 billion that they're getting from in-app purchases currently, just revenue. And that's essentially free money. So if you look at this, that's almost 10% of their total revenue. And their revenue is, this isn't their profit, this is their revenue. So that money that they were getting from those in-app purchases is basically free money for them, right? They're just collecting a tax. They're not doing any work to promote those apps. The creators of those apps are promoting the apps and trying to sell the product. Apple doesn't have to worry about developing the apps or doing anything, any marketing on that regard. They're just collecting 30% of the fruits of the labor of the app creators, essentially. So that is a massive source of free revenue for them, right? So they're actually going to be losing a bit of their profitable revenue, right? Because when they're selling an iPhone, there's actual input costs that go into that. There's transportation costs, there's marketing costs. And the in-app purchases is kind of something that's just like been under the skin of the water and not many people have been paying attention to, but it's actually a massive source of free money for them, right? Profitable money, not just revenue, because the revenue, assume, maybe they make $1 million in revenue, half of that might be production costs. So they actually only have 500,000 in profit. This is actually, they're losing 30% of this free money. So what's really scary about this is that currently Apple is not going to be allowing that to take effect for in-game content purchases, which do make up the bulk of their revenue on the App Store, at least. However, regulators are not very happy with this, right? Regulators, especially the judge in the Epic Games case. You guys may have heard Epic Games has filed a lawsuit against Apple. Let's see if we can find it. Epic Games wants, they generated $1 billion in sales through Apple's platform. And Apple, took their 30% of it. And Epic is currently in a trial. And they're trying to argue that Apple shouldn't be able to take that from them and that they should be able to link to an outside payment provider. And that would be a massive, just Epic Games alone, right? $300 million for Apple in revenue, but really mostly profit just from this one company that they're taking a cut from. So That is some very scary news from Apple. And, over the long term, I could see this potentially detrimentally affecting the stock. And I'm not saying that Apple stock is going to crash. I'm not saying it's going to go down. It's still a very strong company. They still have a great ecosystem of products and a lot of services that they provide. By no means do I think that this is going to crash the stock, but I think that this potentially validates maybe a lower valuation on it just temporarily and potentially into the future, right? If they're making that much less revenue in the future, then it could be very detrimental for the stock price. And that's something to watch out for, right? You're going to want to pay a lot of attention to the earnings calls coming out after this, especially news that they're going to be maybe losing the case with Epic Games. Maybe they're going to be allowing those in-game purchases to be done outside of the App Store and are going to be losing that 30% revenue that they're collecting. So that's something to watch out for and could really shake up Apple stock if that happens. So that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please consider liking and subscribing. I try to keep these short and sweet for you guys. So if you want to do that to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.